Welcome to KYD. We've got a Q&A today.
Woohoo!
Realize we haven't done one of these in a really long time.
And we're getting some questions and we want to answer them for you.
We're getting a lot of the same questions, and we just needed to put a little time out on the travel because we left Arizona and we picked up what we call the bird, Daydream, which we'll talk about. And then it's just been nonstop.
And we realize that it's our responsibility to make sure that you understand all the craziness that's happening in our lives.
And it is difficult to keep up with.
It is. It's a little, what did you do with the Airstream?
That was a huge question.
Huge.
What did you do with the Airstream? So let's just go through a quick agenda so you know what to expect. And then we're going to dive into each of these. So,
and I don't mean to make your life harder, but maybe we could put a timestamp down below so people could see.
All right, if you want to go to a specific question, yeah, that's a good idea. Okay, so what's the deal with the bird? This is the bird. We're going to talk about it. This is a 1984 Bluebird Wander Lodge, hashtag not a schoolie. We're going to talk about that. What did you do with the Airstream? What has been your favorite RV? Someone wanted us to arrange them in order, Trish.
I wrote them on a piece of paper so that we could stack them. People want to know what you like. But really, I think we should. I have another idea, too. Okay,
someone else said, why do we buy so many RVs? I think that's a fair question. Yeah. What did you do with the Hensley? Another fair question.
I think we get that question about 3 times a day.
We really do. Where did you get the bedspread for the Airstream? That has been a recurring question for as long as you've had it.
Yes.
I almost brought it in here. Anyway, some people want an update on the kids. Tori, Carson, and Caleb.
Thank you for
that.
being interested.
They want to know if is Trish going to make a cookbook? Well, she did. But
I did.
Yes. And then how is the cabin working out? When you ground me from using the air horn, how long does that last?
Oh, well, it depends on if you have good behavior. You always know if someone has remorse or not. I can see the twinkle in his eye.
When I use it. Okay, so why does it seem like you're always in a hurry?
That's a fair question.
I'm not ready to go full-time. How did you decide on a hometown? Is it difficult finding sites? Are you going to start KYD 55 again? KYD 55 is our 55-day health and wellness challenge, like our health and healthy habits challenge.
Yes.
Okay. Is it just me, or do you guys never hit bad weather? It does seem like that, and we have an explanation. Looking back, what would you do over? How do you overcome the endless list of what-ifs and the unknown? I thought that was pretty good. And then a lot of people wanted to know about KYD merch and how it works, because that is kind of also hard to keep up with. For those that have been here since what we call the first Flat Tire Season 1, you know. But if you just found KYD, you should know that we do Summer to Remember shirts, which we love, right? Because
it totally brings the community together. It gives you an awesome reason to make a list, which is totally free. We do these really cool printables, and just go after moments. This isn't like spend all your cash. This is go after the special moments that bring the people you love closer together. So that's how we talk about.
It just makes the RV community and the KYD community a little bit smaller when you see someone else hiking or at an RV park and they see a shirt. We love coming across people.
People are making friends.
Yes.
All over the place. Out of nowhere.
So a lot of people missed that because we typically do it in the spring. A lot of people missed it, so we're going to open that up for just this week, Sunday to Sunday.
Okay.
So the dates will be right here. So if you missed it, or if you need another, or whatever the case is, you got 7 days.
I need a new red one because I washed it with something wrong and I have a big black streak across my...
And what did you do, the red one? You wore the red one at NASCAR? How cool was that?
I have my Start to Remember shirt on.
This is one of those moments.
Woo!
Oh my gosh, this is...
Oh my gosh. Wait, It was so much fun.
Yes, okay. And then, of course, we do hats in the fall. KYD hats are in the fall, usually early November. So that's the deal on that. So we covered that question. That was the 18th question. Scrolling back up to the top, what is the deal with the bird?
Okay, so we have 2 minutes to do each one of these questions. So we need to keep this...
We'll keep it snappy.
Snappy.
Here was the questions on the bird. Why did you buy it? Are you planning on keeping it? Is it difficult to maneuver? How will you improve the performance? A lot of people saw me going slow up those hills. I want to talk about that. What upgrades do you plan to make? Did I need a CDL? And is Charlie adjusting? So
you don't need a CDL if your state doesn't require a CDL.
There are only 13 states that require a non-commercial CDL, commercial driver's license, 13 states for being over 26,000 pounds. Arizona is not one of those states, so I don't have to have one. If Texas does require one, if I was a Texas resident, or let me rephrase, if my driver's license was issued from Texas, then I would have to get a CDL.
Yes.
Now, me being an Arizona resident, an Arizona issued driver's license, I can still drive through Texas without needing a CDL because my state doesn't require them. So that's another big misconception. So Trish, why did we buy the Bluebird?
We bought the Bluebird because this is the motorized RV season, and we haven't really had a long-term experience with a motorized rig. We had short little snippets. We've done New Zealand. We rented a big, beautiful RV and went to the Grand Canyon, and we had a Sprinter type van, a Travato, for a weekend. So, but we hadn't gotten our, like, I don't know, we hadn't gotten our feet wet with a real Class A. And so this is what we wanted to do.
And I guess I can piggyback on another question. Why do we change RVs so frequently? The reason is because we get hundreds and hundreds of emails about what about this and what about this, and have you considered that? We just want as many RV experiences as possible.
Right.
So we wanted to do a motorized RV, but we wanted to do it in a super fun way. And we thought this would be a super fun way to do it. And it has been. We absolutely love the Bird. Do we plan on keeping it? Yes. As far as I'm concerned right now, we have no plans on selling it.
Okay, listen, this thing is luxury on wheels. I'm not kidding. It definitely has a 1984 like vibe and smell in the whole thing, which is endearing, and we absolutely love it. And when we sit here, we think, man, they had it right. These couches are comfortable.
Yep.
We can have conversations and watch a movie and just do all kinds of things. I don't know. I'm looking around and the space just works.
We just really like it, and we thought this would be a fun way to learn about motorized RVing and share the process.
Yes.
Do we plan on keeping it? Yes. Is it difficult to maneuver? Comparing this to the Winnebago Tour that we rented briefly, this does not have the wheel cut that has, but it's only also 35 feet, whereas that was 42 feet or something, or 43 feet. So it has been easy to maneuver. It just doesn't have the same wheel cut as maybe some of the newer RVs. What are we going to do to improve the performance? So a lot of people saw the episode, I think it was last episode, where we were going 11 miles per hour up the hill.
The snail episode.
Okay, look, a lot of that, and thanks to Larry with his YouTube channel, he's got a Wonder Lodge that he took to Alaska.
Yes,
okay,
pretty
Buoy
cool.
4. A lot of that was my fault. I learned from the people reading the comments. I allowed the RPMs to get under 2,000. And what I really needed to do is when the RPMs were up higher, I needed to pre-downshift, keep those RPMs high, because once you lose the RPMs on this Caterpillar engine, it doesn't regain them. So there's a lot that I can do to improve the performance on driving it. I am looking into how to on adding a turbo. This doesn't have it. A lot of 3208s do have turbos.
Right.
And I'm having a really hard time finding shops that are going to do that.
Yeah.
They'll just drop off a package. Those putting a package up. Okay. So yes, we do have plans to improve the performance of that, but I think a lot of it is me.
What I want to say is thank you to our audience, because it is one of the coolest experiences to create a video or have these different things that we're exploring, and we put it out into the YouTube world. And you, the KYD community, are so amazing because you give us feedback. You're like, hey, have you ever thought about this? Hey, even with the shifting, right?
Yeah.
It's immediately when you start to see a flood of the same kind of feedback about one particular thing, we learn so quickly. So I just want to say thank you for participating in a positive way here in KYD land.
The community is awesome. And then how is Charlie adjusting? He's actually adjusting really well. He is coming around. In fact, you'll see in the next episode possibly where I'm driving along and he'll just come right up beside me. He is really adjusting quite well. Did we sell the Airstream?
No.
No.
No, we did not. In fact, we just got it back from getting repairs.
Yes.
And she looks beautiful.
And a few upgrades that we're pretty excited to share with you. We put in the electric-only electric-only fridge from Dometic.
Look at this! Boom, 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 boom.
Dude, that is awesome.
Woo!
That is
wow.
That is really cool.
It is really cool.
Have you seen that before?
I've never seen that model, no. It looks like better than a residential model.
Wow.
What? This looks like a baby residential fridge.
Right?
That's what Eric was saying.
It really does. Look at how deep the produce drawers are. You know I love my produce. This is really good.
Wow, that's really cool.
This is, What does that mean?
Phenomenal.
Tell people
it means that it only draws a few amps. It's not an absorption propane fridge. You know what it means?
It means
your ice cream's hard. It means your ice cream's hard, and you don't have to worry about propane when
you don't have to have your propane on while you're driving.
Yeah.
And I know that's a big concern for people, as it should be, because they say don't drive with your propane on.
Yes.
So some people do it, some people don't. But this,
it's really not a good
even
idea,
a
because if there was an accident and something were to happen, you don't want hot propane lines. But and then of course there's tunnels and bridges and things like that. So anyway, more to come on that, but we're pretty excited to share that with you. While we're talking about the Airstream, where did you get the comforter everyone's talking about?
CB2. I think it's like Crate and Barrel 2 or CB2.
Okay, here's the thing.
Mark doesn't like it.
It's really big. It's like canvassy.
It's really heavy.
It's really heavy. It's really big.
And you can't wash it very well. And
so heavy.
Oh, everybody loves a comedian.
Oh, hold on. I give up.
But it's so cute, and I love it so much that I make him live through the pain.
And it's kind of pricey too, so a lot of people are surprised by that. You did it because it was like a splurge in Texas. We just got the RV.
Well, it's in an RV like an Airstream. You really can't do much to decorate, and so you pretty much the Airstream is the decoration. It's like clean lines and things like that, and so you have like one little space to make an impact, and that's my impact, and I like it.
And everyone else does too, apparently.
And it's
okay,
staying.
are you ready to order these like our favorite RVs in order?
Oh, you want to do this?
Well, that's what's next.
Okay, so we've had 6 RVs. Okay, they're not in order.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
They're not in order. Here, wait, let me put them in order. Okay. First, we started with Ginger.
Okay.
Okay, we started with Ginger. You hold this.
Okay.
We started with Ginger, and then we moved into a Reflection. Biggest upgrade for us because there was separate space, kids, adults. It was amazing, tons of storage, and then we had a fifth wheel. Yes.
This was
Momentum.
by and large. I get the feeling that this was the community's favorite RV.
You
The fifth
really?
wheel. Just based upon comments. A lot of people miss the fifth wheel. And I could see why.
Sorry about that. People said that we looked stressed out when we had it, and we weren't stressed out. We were just thinking about a lot more because it's bigger, it's higher, but you actually loved the maneuverability of it.
I loved the F450. Everyone knows that. I loved the size of the momentum. I liked all that. But you are on when you're driving.
Yes.
And when you're almost 14 feet high, which is as high as a semi-truck, your route planning takes more consideration. Pulling into even here with our friends. I remember that season pulling into here. We were worried about the sign. With the Airstream, we just buzz in. So we'll talk about that, but I did like it a lot.
Then we had the Teardrop.
Tricia's favorite.
And then we had the Airstream. We still have it. We have not sold it. And we have the Bird. Here's the thing. I don't know if you can really say, like, I don't know if you could stack them from top to bottom because they all offer different things. Like the Teardrop, people make fun of me because they could see that I wasn't really having the best time of my life. But the truth is,
some of the best memories come from that.
We could go totally off-road. We could go into places that we wouldn't be able to go in any other circumstance.
Yeah.
And our literal footprint was as big as a tent.
Yeah, I know.
And so we were up on ridges looking down into these gorgeous views we wouldn't have had access to. So everything serves a different mission. And so you have to ask yourself, what is the mission? Even the beautiful fifth wheel we had a king size bed or an RV king, which is slightly smaller than a rail king. Both the boys had queen size beds. So Victoria could fly in. She had a place to sleep. Carson, Caleb, and these are like full size people. We're not dealing with little kids anymore. So anyway, the Momentum had like wonderful floor plan, wonderful big beds, 2 bathrooms. It was phenomenal. It felt like a real home.
Well, and now, so we always said previously that the Airstream was our favorite RV. And probably a lot of that, too, is because the Airstream makes a really good casita. It sits out in front of the cabin, and then now when Tori or different people come and visit, they can stay in the Airstream, which is like a casita. So it's kind of nice. It just doesn't feel and look like an RV, which we like. And now with the Bird, I like the Bird, too. So and that's why we're probably keeping these 2 rigs, because this is just a fun... this was just like we did the meetup at NASCAR. There's just something about this. It brings a lot of excitement and joy.
Yes.
As Bunny says, it's 35 feet of joy.
That's right. Okay, but for me, and I don't even know why I need to hold this to tell you this, Ginger number 1, Ginger 1.0. Ginger taught us that we were capable of getting out there and making it happen. It wasn't perfect.
Great point.
It got ruined. We learned all kinds of things the hard way, but we went everywhere in that thing, and we shoved ourselves in there like little sardines, and we had a blast. It completely changed the trajectory of our lives. Like, we never RV'd as a family, and we have memories now.
How am I supposed to wash this off? We have no fresh water.
That bring us closer together. I mean, even as the kids are growing older, and we're going to touch base on where they are and what they're doing, they're starting their own lives now. And I just want to re-presence that you get 18 summers with your kids. That doesn't mean that you're never going to have another summer, but the dynamic will constantly change. And we talk about that all the time. Like, hey, we're going to start bringing new people into our lives as our kids get married, and our family's going to grow. And we talk about that. And we talk about what's that going to be like and being welcoming and loving to new people. But that moment in time is gone.
But impossible.
But it was possible because it was Ginger 1.0.
Which is why we always say start small, start now, because had we stayed attached
Waited.
and like, oh, I'm not going to do this until I can do it in this RV or this truck, or I have this much time, we might have missed the window and none of this would have even happened. So just the fact we had the truck, we had the F-150, what could we pull with it? Probably put a little too much stuff in it, but you know, we made it happen, and then that's where it started. So start small, start now. That's where that was born. Okay, so
we just want to represent that for you, because sometimes dreams don't look pretty in reality, but you're doing them and you're learning, and then you get to grow from that.
Okay, so why do we not have the Hensley anymore? It's a great question, because I think a lot of times when we make a change, not everyone, but some people assume it's because we didn't like something. I think it's easy to forget that we make videos about RVing. We are trying to experience as many things as possible. I have no issues right now with the Blue Ox. I look over there because the Airstream trucker right there. But I also want to compare it to like the Equalizer. But when I compare it to the Equalizer, there'll be comments that say, "Oh, I knew you didn't like the Blue Ox." And I go, "No, I just want to," or the Hensley. No, the Blue Ox.
Oh, okay.
I just want to experience different things. So the Hensley does what it says it's supposed to do,
really
and that
well.
is it 100% eliminates sway. Even the trucks passing you, it eliminates that too, right? It is expensive and it can be temperamental at times. 1 out of 10 hookups don't go very smooth, right? And so with the way that the Airstream is set up, the way Airstream GVWR is 8,800 pounds. My truck is about 9,000 pounds. That setup is so level and it tows so well. I just didn't feel like I needed that. I know the Hensley provides a little extra emergency maneuvering and some extra protection, but here's my bottom line. I say to people, if you have a towable RV, a travel trailer, and you do not enjoy towing it because of the crosswinds, or it's white knuckled, or you just don't feel comfortable doing it, I think it's a great investment. For us, every once in a while there'll be a crosswind. I'll reach down there, I'll tap the trailer brakes, I'll straighten it out, and we'll be fine. And so for that, I'm happy with the Blue Ox. Yeah. Okay, you want to give a little update on the kids real quick?
Well, what do they want to do? Let's do that.
Okay, what do the kids want to do?
Victoria is in school right this very minute for graphic design.
Yes, and she goes to LA Film School online.
Right. And then Carson, obviously we've shared a lot of that this summer, but he is shooting to be in the Air Force as well.
He wants to fly planes, he wants to fly planes through a military path, and what options will be available to him and what happens will depend upon a lot of the next few months, but he did just complete his solo, which is pretty cool, and he is working really hard to get his check ride to complete his PPL, his private pilot's license, as soon as possible.
Yes.
Caleb is remodeling the basement as we speak. No, I'm just kidding.
Caleb would like to, well, what I find really fascinating is that Caleb loves business, and he loves business because he loves to see how business owners solve problems. And so he does a lot of research and asks a bazillion questions about how was this problem solved for people and how did business solve that problem. So he's going to go into business. He's not sure what it is going to be yet, but he's going to help people solve problems through business. That's what he's doing.
And we've got some ideas with Caleb too. And we really enjoy, like, Caleb enjoys the channel and he enjoys the community. And so
a lot of people say, is Caleb going to go into acting? He doesn't want to do that.
No.
But he is so funny.
Yeah, he is.
So anyway.
He is funny. Okay, so your cookbook. So, for the longest time, the community has been asking for a cookbook. And then we started it and we realized just how monumental of a task it is.
Yeah.
And so for probably the past, year and a half to 2 years, you have been diligently working on the cookbook. And it just, it went pre-order like a month ago.
Yes.
But now it is shipping. In fact, all the pre-orders have been shipped out. And so congratulations.
First impressions,
it
feels
heavy?
amazing. I feel like it's just the right size. I love even that stitching in there.
The ribbon.
The ribbon,
it's a sewn binder.
There were so many little decisions in here just for you. So anyway, I'm very excited, and I'm going to pour over this. Thank you.
Yeah, Tricia did a great job.
And if you got one and you're flipping through it and you have questions, you can email me.
Yes.
I've answered a few questions because recipes change and flux and.
It's a hardcover cookbook. It's 264 pages. There are over 100 recipes, 8 sections, and then also Trish has her whole spice line too, which is pretty cool.
Yep, so that you can have quick and easy flavor. You don't need to follow a recipe. You throw it in. You throw it on the grill. You've got big flavor as much as you want.
And you can get a lot of more cooking ideas because Trish wants to do a lot more cooking, but not always on KYD. So you can go to Tricia's channel, Tricia Leach,
Yes,
her YouTube channel.
YouTube.
And so we hope to add a lot more videos on that. Okay, cool. So how's the cabin working out?
Cabin is working out great. We love getting pictures from people who are staying there. They're enjoying their stay in Flagstaff.
Yeah.
But what's great is that we have a home base and other people get to have a vacation.
That was by design. And so this is too big of a question to answer right now.
This could be a whole...
We would like to do an entire episode about real estate and RVing. So let us know if you think that would be helpful. I think it'd be helpful because we get a lot of questions in on what to do with real estate, how to get out of real estate, back into real estate. I think it's a huge topic that could require an entire video.
Huge.
But the cabin's working out well, and it stays occupied, and then we are home in the winter, which works out great. Okay, so let's see. Why does it seem like you're always in a hurry?
Well, because we kind of are. You'll find, if you haven't already gone through this phase, where as your kids grow up, you have different things you have to be at certain times. And then in addition, we've created a few things in our life where we have events or we have to be somewhere. And so we're clicking along to go to what we call our big rocks, the things that are the most important in the year. And then between those big rocks, we let our RVing just flow.
Yeah, so like here's a great example. Like this summer, we are in Michigan because mostly Carson's out of school, and we wanted to have him focus on his flying, right? And then General Mark Wise invited us out to the Marine Barracks Parade, which will be an episode, if not next episode, the one after that, which was spectacular.
Really neat.
Really great. So we're very excited to share that with you. So he asked us to do that in March, and we were like, absolutely. So that was one of our big rocks. Then we decided to buy the bus, which happened to be in Hilton Head.
Yes.
So we were like, okay, no problem. We can go to Michigan, go pick up the RV in Hilton Head, and then we can go to the Marine Barracks Parade. No problem.
You know you're an RVer when you just literally did a triangle of places across the United States, and you're like, no problem.
And then NASCAR called.
Yes.
And said, hey, do you want to like do a race or something like that? And we said, yeah. And then they gave us all the tracks, and we thought, well, Atlanta's pretty good. Okay, so we could go from Hilton Head to NASCAR to DC to Michigan. So that's why we're in a hurry.
Yes.
Because we agree to these things, and then we make it work, and then that means we only have a week to get from Atlanta to DC. But I'll tell you what, we'll save some for the fishes later, right? I mean, like we go through a town like Asheville, which I agree, completely underserved, so much to do there. But we go through there and we look around and we're like, oh, this is a spot that we get to revisit. And I don't think enough RVers give credit to the fact that there's a lot of different ways to do this. You could go fast, pick a couple spots, and then go back directly back and spend time. Or if you're retired and you've got the next 10 years, you can go slow through everywhere.
Right.
Just
you can take a month at a time.
There's no right or wrong answer.
You could be a camp host and work somewhere and then explore it on the weekends or whenever your time is off. There's so many ways you could stay somewhere for a season. I know a lot of people have medical needs, and so they'll go to like Mayo in the West, and they'll stay there for the beautiful months in the West, and then they'll go to the East and stay there for the East, or for the second half of the year. So however you need your RV to serve you, just remember your RV is there to serve you.
Yes.
If it's like part-time, full-time, use it as a seasonal location, whatever you need to do. But for us, we're moving at a clip, because the other thing is we're not using this as like a second house. We're not saying, oh, we're going to stay here for 6 months, because we are making videos. And so we do want to share new and fun things so that other people get great ideas about where to go.
I will also add to that our mission has changed as we've gotten more experience from places to people. Places over time start to look the same, and people tend to bring a lot of excitement and energy into things. So our our route, our destinations have shifted from, hey, let's go there and see this, to let's go here and be with someone. And so that's a big change for our channel, and I think that's a natural evolution for a lot of our viewers, that year to year your focus will change.
Right.
Okay, we get this question all the time. Is it difficult finding sites? And I understand that there has been an uptick in RVers, and it is certainly busier, but really, in terms of how we travel, nothing's really changed that much.
Well, remember, weekends are always going to be busy.
Always. Key destinations.
Summer is always going to be busy. Key destinations, always going to be busy. So you have to be on your game. Like we've always known, you want to get into a national park, you better be on your game.
Yep. You want to be somewhere that is a hot destination during Thursday to Sunday, you're going to need a reservation. So what we've always done is planned in advance on those spots, made a reservation, and then we use programs like Harvest Host and Boondockers Welcome to fill in all the details and the route along the way, and even some dry camping. And if you're set up to do some dry camping, you could dry camp, hit some last minute reservations on a state park. But anyway, if just be persistent on the cancellations, because if there's somewhere you really want to get into, just call a little bit more often. Don't make that phone call 1 or 2 months in advance when everybody's calling, because of course it's going to be booked. Just keep calling. People are canceling every day.
Yes.
Okay. When does KYD 55 start again? Well, what is KYD 55?
Okay, KYD 55 is a 5-pillar habit challenge. And we talk about water consumption, nutrition, exercise, service, and reading. And it is super fun. We have a great community of people. I'm only sharing what other people have said about it. This isn't even my opinion, and I think it's amazing too, because I get so pumped off of what people are accomplishing. I'm not even exaggerating here. Lives were saved.
There were people that are no longer on medicine. There were people that gave up soda, to smoking, to lower cholesterol, to completely, like I said, completely giving up medication.
And
Crazy.
We ask that you please go see a doctor before you start. You sign something that says you did. And so electronically, and guess what? People have found out they've had a heart condition, almost like if they hadn't had surgery, they would have passed away. Like, this is serious business. So anyway, the best part about it is the community and the ripple effect that not only will have in your life, but the people around you. So that's what it is.
Completely free, by the way.
Completely
it's a program that we have built and designed to be completely free for the KYD community. You can learn more information about it at KYD55.com. And we had 9,500 people go through it with us last time, so it would be great to have even more people this time. And so you can go there and add your name to a waiting list to get more information. We're thinking September 7th is when we're going to start this time, so it's just after Labor Day. And by the way, this is not a weight loss challenge. This is a healthy habit challenge. It's anything you want to make it. So if there's one healthy habit you'd like to establish, and maybe one habit that's not serving you, you'd like to get rid of, you could do it like that.
Even Caleb said, I don't really need a nutrition plan. I don't need to go keto. I'm a kid, I'm running around. I said, that's a really good point. How about you add in one more thing, like a green vegetable or something like that? And he goes, oh, I love that. So even coming from a 16-year-old's perspective, he's like, oh, that's totally awesome. This is not a weight loss challenge. This is about, being the best you can every single day.
Okay, so why does it seem like you guys never hit bad weather? So, interesting thing. It probably seems like that because the days that we choose to record are good weather. If we're looking outside and the weather's not good, we say, okay, well, we look at the weather.
The camera doesn't do very well in pouring rain.
It does not do very well, and lighting is a big factor. But here's an interesting thing. Have you noticed how many days we've driven in the rain?
Yes.
And the reason for that is we don't really choose the weather on. Our drive days are chosen for us based way in advance. And if we're checking out of RV park on a Wednesday, then that's when we're checking out of that park, rain or shine. And that's why it seems like we're always driving in the rain. But if we're going to go tour a winery or go to an event, we can just pick a date that's sunny, and that's why it looks like that.
Yes.
Okay,
Well, it does help that we're chasing good weather. This year, we had a meetup in Atlanta and a meetup in Washington, D.C., and we're like, it's
Who's doing the scheduling?
99 degrees and 1,000,000% humidity, and we're the ones who chose these dates. So anyway, yeah.
Looking back, would we have done anything differently?
Oh, okay. So here's the dealio. Anybody can Monday morning quarterback, whatever the term is.
Most people do.
Okay. So, and it's just really important that you don't put yourself through the head drama of doing that, because you can learn from your mistakes or change things, but it's about the fact that you did it, that you created and you learned along the way, because the truth is, you won't know until you go. It's true. You won't know what you're capable of, how your family will come together, what roadblocks you're going to really have versus what you thought you were going to have. I think that's a whole nother video. But it's really an exercise in perseverance and learning along the way.
And the example that I would use, I could easily say, yeah, if I were to do this again, I'd go back and I would have started with my diesel F-250 because it just created a lot more stability. It created less fatigue because the
it did
trailer
feel like a world of change.
The trailer wasn't going like this on it all the time, and so as a result, we were less fatigued when we were driving. We were driving further distances, which for us that's important if we have to be somewhere. But I wouldn't necessarily say I'm going to go back and I would have wanted to do that, because if I would have looked at the price tag of the F-250 when we were first getting started, I might have said, that's kind of a lot. And then we might have focused our attention somewhere else and missed the entire window. We might not have gone RVing at all. So it goes back to start small, start now. Just get going. See if you like it. See if, do you like towing RVs and whatnot, and then make the change. And if you can get into the RV with the right preparation, you can get out of the RV and make some adjustments. It's not as hard as people think if you do the research. Obviously, right now with the demand of RVing, it's a little bit more challenging than it was, but it's still possible.
Right.
So, okay. How do you overcome the endless list of what ifs and the fear of unknowns?
I think that's kind of a little bit of what we were just talking about, is you don't really know what you're up against until you start persevering through it. And you could back yourself into a corner. There's so many things. But the truth is, you didn't know how to have kids. You didn't know how to buy a house. You didn't know how to drive a car. You didn't know how to walk, for heaven's sakes. So, and we learn all these things as we do them. And so it's really important, I think, to base decisions and change how you're operating, like make small changes as you learn along the way.
Well, and I think we talked about too having an attitude of knowing that you're going to figure it out.
Okay, so there's this meme, and it's this dad throwing the boy in the water, and he says, "I don't know how to swim," and he goes, "Not with that attitude." So yeah, there's things you're not going to know how to do, but it really is your attitude. Not that meme is so bad, but it really is your attitude in how you're going to take it on. Like, we get emails all the time, like, we really appreciate seeing you guys go through the dip, because that's what we call it, where your reality doesn't meet your expectations. It's that dip, and how can you move those two things closer together by not wasting your emotional energy and being solution based, but really just like pushing through. And people write in and they say, "I'm glad that I got to see you do that, because you can shrug it off." Because guess what, you're probably going to be the hardest on yourself out of anybody. I mean, maybe not if you have like a bunch of teenagers watching you, they might be hard on you too, but the truth is, you're probably going to be harder on yourself than anybody else. And so just giving yourself permission to be okay with everything not being perfect,
that's a great point,
is totally fine.
And then also, the what if scenario is kind of an emotional fear, right? Like, you're just kind of scared that you don't really know what's going to happen. And I think that needs to be combated with something intellectually to put it kind of at ease. Trish calls it the lizard brain, when the lizard brain just wants everything to be safe. Everybody, just keep everyone safe. That's like a prehistoric.
Yeah, I think that's Seth Godin. I got that from Seth Godin.
And so I think, what I do to combat that is I realize that, look, I'm going to be prepared. I've done the research, and I'm going to take my time. And that's my secret weapon. You're gonna take your time. And so if you have those fears, just know, hey, I am prepared. I've done my research. I know what I'm doing. I don't have all the answers, but I know what I'm doing, and I'm going to take my time. And if you do that, you're not going to need luck.
Right.
You're just going to take your time. And
well, and here's the thing. We created 2 separate communities for this exact thing. We have the KYD Insiders, and this is a group of people that support each other unconditionally. That's not to say that we don't give each other constructive feedback, but support. And then we have E3, which is an education-based platform where we are like good to go because we're based in education. And so having these things and knowing, just like you're saying, I've done the best I can with my research, I've done the best with my attitude, and I'm like ready to go. That is your secret weapon. I know I didn't quote you perfectly, but you have to have a little confidence in yourself that you're going to figure it out.
Yes. Yeah. All right. So definitely we're going to have we've mentioned a lot of things in this video, but down below we're going to have links to like e3camping.com, to the KYD Insiders. And then also I'll say too, our Amazon list, we have a reading list. And fear is so not easy to overcome, but one of the ways to combat it is by reading. And keeping your mind in the right frame, like listening to podcasts, reading different books, not allowing yourself to go down that path. And I would say probably the biggest thing of all is be very cautious on who you're going to get advice from. Because if you're worried about doing something, you probably know who to go to kill it. You know who you could bring this idea. I'm thinking about maybe getting an RV.
It's a subconscious thing. But you go to a person that you know is going to shoot your idea down.
And you say, I'm thinking about maybe taking buying an RV and taking a trip. What do you think? And they say, oh, you're crazy. You're crazy for doing that. Have you considered this, this, and this? So be very careful who you get advice from. And I would suggest that you find people that have done it. Because instead of being scared about it, they'll just tell you what you did.
Right.
And
they'll tell you how to get through something or what to watch out for. I mean, that's the best part about RVers is they're so exceptionally nice and they have a lot of things to share.
Yeah.
So when we go to RV parks, we learn about what's happening in the area. We just learn things quickly through other people.
Yeah. So community, I think community is key. And so links to joining our community for that, which is great. I think that's it.
Wow. Well,
I mean,
there were
it still took too much time, but...
There were 700 comments in about a couple hours.
Yeah.
And so that was like really fun, and we appreciate you giving us feedback and so that we could create this video and help answer the questions that you had on your mind.
Yes.
And we did not sell the Airstream.
Yeah, and so a lot of people want to know what we're going to do this season. So we're taking the Airstream out east to go on a trip out there while we get the bird kind of fixed up in a couple. We got to get a propane tank, but we're also working with Battleborn batteries on their Game Changer 3, their GC3, the Game Changer battery. And we're going back to Future Solutions.
The genius think tank.
Genius think tank of solar and batteries.
And I'm not saying that lightly.
No, you're not. No,
I'm not. They literally are a genius think tank.
And let me tell you, this 1984 bus is going to give them a run for their money, too. And so, because it just doesn't have the storage and it's completely sealed underneath. So,
that'll be fun.
Yeah. So we're going to do that, and then we're going to pick it up. Hopefully we get the propane done, we get the batteries that we want, and we can run the air conditioning unit when we're driving down the road, all that good stuff. And then we're going to start in Chicago and head down to Santa Monica, Route 66.
Yeah, this is going to be so fun.
Yeah. And then basically we're going to use the bird for meetups and special trips like that. And then we're going to use the Airstream for going fast and going far.
That's right.
That's kind of the plan.
The silver bullet.
So anyways, anything else, Trish?
No, I think we did it. Well done.
All right, thanks for asking all the questions and being part of the community, because that's really what's driving Trish and I now is the community and the meetups and seeing people make their RV dream or any dream happen. That's really what's giving us the most buzz.
Well, that's what one person said. Does it annoy you if we come up to you and say hi?
No,
that's amazing. So thank you when you do, and sharing your story of what you're up to, what you're doing, because it lets us know, what are people interested in, and what do people like to do, and what are you up to?
And also, I mean, our dream is evolving too, and so you'll probably see over the next couple years us folding in more things into the channel, and so you can expect that. Trish and I have been changing all the time.
For our whole life.
Our whole life. And so now people are like, wait, no, stay the same. It's like, no, we don't do that. So you'll see even more things getting folded into KYD.
Yeah.
And that's what we like to do. And then we like to share the process and how to overcome it. And we like being in learning mode.
That's right.
All right, that's it for this Sunday. Glad you're here. Next Sunday, we're going to pack up, go from, where are we going? From Asheville up to Chesapeake Bay. Yes. I don't know if we're going to make it all the way to Washington, D.C. in video land, but I'd love to show you the Marine Barracks, but it'd just be the weekend after that.
Yes. Thanks for hanging out with us.
See you later.